Fei Lu Novel Network A.Level Contracted Novel. Xiao Huanxi. My fiancé A.E. is Li Meng. Upon waking up, Lu Yuan realized that he had traveled into a world of little joy, and that Li Meng, the beautiful teacher of the iceberg, had actually become his fiancé A.E. Oh my goodness, I still have to take the college entrance exam. Fortunately, the Awakening Omnipotent system can enhance skill attributes as long as you read a book. Language, math, English, and materialization are all the top. I accidentally became someone else's child. Dong Wenjie. Fan, look at Lu Yuan. He did 2 sets of test papers in 10 minutes. What about you? You can't even do a manicure in 10 minutes. Song Qian. Ingzi, Mom believes in you. As long as you work hard, you can definitely narrow the gap with Lu Yuan. Come on next time, try your best and only score 30 points lower than him. Wang Yidi said, Lu Yuan, do you mind if my mother asks me to come to you for tutoring tonight? Lu Yuan. Cute, did I go to class? Li Meng. Humph, go home early tonight, otherwise I'll ignore you. Fei Lu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 1. My fiancé A.E. is a teacher, new book number 1, More Seeking Flowers. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Yanjing International Airport. Lu Yuan looked at the unhappy face in front of him, the iceberg beauty with a cold air conditioning effect emanating from her body, and smiled helplessly. I didn't expect to travel into the world of Xiaohuan and become Li Meng's fiancé A. In theory, this is a good thing, after all, she is indeed quite good. Looking, with fair skin, delicate facial features, and a tall figure. From any perspective, she is a rare beauty. But I am about to transfer to Chunfeng Middle School to study in my 3rd year of high school, and this script is a bit too flashy. I have to wait until I go to college before we talk. When he had a headache and how to speak, Li Meng said coldly, although I don't know what kind of intoxicating soup you gave my parents and insisted that I marry you. But I am very clear to you that this is impossible. Now we no longer follow the matchmaker's orders. Lu Yuan shrugged helplessly and said, actually, I understand your feelings at this moment. Who wouldn't think so? Do you think I would be happy to have an extra fiancé A.E. before I even went to college? I've never been in a relationship before. Li Meng's face softened slightly and she said, I didn't say that to you either, but to get vaccinated in advance. After all, we will be living together for a year, so. Li Meng was stunned for a moment, then rolled her eyes and said, you want to be pretty, humph. Lu Yuan chuckled and said, I'm so handsome, can't I think of being more beautiful? Li Meng instinctively wanted to refute, but when she saw Lu Yuan's handsome and extraordinary face, she felt a bit hesitant. Her fiancé A is a bit too good. Looking. If the two were not in such an awkward relationship, she wouldn't be willing to refuse just because of this face. However, despite losing, Li Meng still forced a few hums and said, you don't want to be shameless. There's no such thing as saying you're handsome. Lu Yuan clasped his fists and bowed, who made you beautiful, Vexia? Whatever you say is right. Li Meng was amused and burst into laughter, but soon deliberately put on a serious expression and said, all right, hurry up and leave, otherwise we'll have to block for another half day during peak hours. Lu Yuan nodded and said, okay, let's go home. Let me help you with your bag. As she spoke, she naturally took the bag from her hand over. Li Meng hesitated to speak, but in the end, she didn't say anything and led the landing towards the parking lot. Both of them were somewhat silent along the way, and after more than an hour, the car drove into a residential area. This community is called Shuxiang Yuan, which is a school district house near Chunfeng Middle School. It is only a few minutes walk from the school, making it very convenient for going to and from school. In the drama, Ingzi and Taozi live here, and later Ji Yangyang, Fang Yifan and others will gradually move here. Lu Yuan didn't expect that Li Meng also lived here. After parking the car, led by Li Meng, Lu Yuan entered the house where she lived. It is a two-bedroom apartment, not particularly large in size, similar to the house rented by Yifan's family in the drama. Although there are only 2 rooms with 1 kitchen and 1 bathroom, the living room is also relatively small. But it was very clean and tidy, and there was a faint fragrance in the room, which was very pleasant to smell. This also fits Lu Yuan's impression of Li Meng, with a cold and stern exterior and a gentle and delicate inner self. Your room is here. I cleaned it up for you a few days ago. Li Meng led Lu Yuan to the door of a room and pointed to the clean room inside, saying, "The space in the room is a bit small, with only 1 bed and a desk inside, but the lighting is quite good." Seeing Lu Yuan looking at the room, Li Meng hesitated for a moment and said, "If you think the room is small, let's change it." Lu Yuan put down his bag and suitcase and said with a smile, "It's okay, that's good. Thank you for helping to tidy it up so clean." Li Meng quietly breathed a sigh of relief and suddenly let a man live in her room, which she couldn't accept for a while. After Lu Yuan packed everything up, she spoke up. "By the way, what would you like to eat for lunch? I'll give you some takeout." Lu Yuan turned his neck and said, "Eating takeout is not hygienic. It's better to make some by yourself." Li Meng coughed twice and said, "Well, I usually don't cook much, why don't we go out and eat?" Lu Yuan saw the awkward expression on her face and knew that Li Meng definitely couldn't cook, so he spoke up and said, "It's okay, I'll do it. You can't just eat and live for free, right? You can always make some effort. Do you have any ingredients at home?" Seeing what Lu Yuan said, Li Meng couldn't argue anymore. "Okay, then I'll trouble you. But there's not much food in the fridge, so I'll go to the supermarket downstairs and buy some." Let's take a look first. If it's really not enough, then buy it." Lu Yuan waved his hand and walked towards the kitchen. After opening the refrigerator, it was indeed empty, with only a bag of toast, a few eggs and tomatoes, a small box of leftover salmon, and a few hams. "I don't even have a bag of rice, and at first glance, I know she's not that homey type of girl. But I can also understand, after all, I am a senior high school teacher. It would be great if I had time to eat, let alone cook for myself." Li Meng felt a little embarrassed when she saw the empty refrigerator and said, "Look, you can't cook with all this stuff. I'll go to the supermarket instead." Lu Yuan said nonchalantly, "These ingredients are completely enough. If we go to the supermarket, it will be too late. Aren't we going to school this afternoon? If you don't mind, I'll make something simpler." Upon hearing this, Li Meng became curious and said, "What are you making with this little ingredient?" "A sandwich." Lu Yuan sneered and said, "Then you look down on me too much. Today, I'll show you something. As a traveler, the system must naturally be carried with you." Unfortunately, his system is the strongest all-around system, which can increase skill proficiency and level by simply reading a book. Before coming to Yanjing, he reached the highest level of all skills that could be improved. Open the system panel, enough to light up everyone's eyes. Even if you were to take the college entrance examination now, the Qing dynasty and the north would only be easy to obtain, and making a dish would be effortless. Li Meng said that making sandwiches is a huge joke in front of a master chef. New book number 1, more for collection, flowers, review tickets, book review section. I am extremely grateful to all the readers. Monthly tickets. Monthly tickets. Oh my. 2, Benedict's Egg, New Book Part 2. Seeking Flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Meng felt a little uneasy when she saw Lu Yuan's confident expression. What else can I make besides a sandwich with just a few slices of bread, eggs, tomatoes, and ham? But his demeanor gave her an inexplicable sense of conviction, because without absolute confidence in herself, it was impossible to show such an appearance. This is the momentum brought by repeated successes. Just as she educated her students herself, it was her imposing demeanor that earned her such a formidable reputation as Iron Stick and Yam, making all students tremble at the news. Even a mischievous erpy face like Fang Yifan would encounter her like a mouse meeting a cat. It is not easy for a young female teacher to achieve this. So she didn't speak anymore and started quietly watching Lu Yuan cook. Soon, she became fascinated. No one else, because Lu Yuan's cooking style is really handsome. The already handsome facial features appear even more profound due to their focused expression, coupled with flowing techniques and dazzling knife techniques, highlighting a high end in atmospheric level. I didn't expect a dish to look so good. Especially Li Meng, who knew nothing about cooking, couldn't help but feel a little admiration for Lu Yuan's professional cooking. In any field, when the realm reaches a certain level, what one does will be pleasing to the eye. Even for outsiders, even if they are not sure how impressive his skills are, his unique temperament alone is enough to captivate and deeply impress people. When Li Meng saw Lu Yuan melting the butter in water and slowly adding it to the beaten egg mixture, she was curious and asked, "Lu Yuan, what are you doing?" As Lu Yuan added butter and stirred it, he smiled and said, "I'm making Dutch juice. Do you like the butter to be stronger or lighter?" With stirring, the rich and mellow aroma of Dutch juice slowly emanates. Gollum, gollum. Li Meng's stomach began to scream uncontrollably. She shyly glanced at Lu Yuan and noticed that he had no reaction. She whispered, "I like something stronger," and then ran to the living room. If she continues to stay in the kitchen, Li Meng is really afraid that she won't be able to control her own power. Who would have thought that this damn Dutch juice scent was so sweet? It was just a simple mixture of butter and egg yolk that had such a rich aroma, which made Li Meng look forward to the next lunch. She originally thought that what Lu Yuan said about the feast was just a joke, but what happened in the kitchen just now made her understand that perhaps all of this was true. Lu Yuan is really good at cooking. Time became particularly long in a moment, and when Li Meng couldn't help but want to explore the kitchen again, Lu Yuan finally walked out with a plate in hand. When Li Meng saw the dishes on the plate, she was deeply attracted at first glance. The plate is so beautiful and exquisite. On the pure white ceramic plate, there are two uniquely shaped Benedictine eggs, and next to them are two half-cut avocados as decorations. Li Meng was pleasantly surprised and said, "Lu Yuan, you can even be a Benedict egg. This is a specialty dish that is only offered in breakfast restaurants of some high-end hotels, such as the famous Benedict egg from the Walt Disney, which is highly praised by many gentlemen and socialites." Li Meng once had a meal while staying at Hilton and was deeply impressed by this delicately shaped and rich-tasting dish. Today, I suddenly saw Lu Yuan moving out this dish, which can be said to be quite shocking in my heart. Moreover, looking at the appearance and aroma, it seems that Lu Yuan's cooking is much better than that of Hilton's chef. Lu Yuan smiled faintly and said, "As long as you like it, I was worried that you wouldn't adapt to Western cuisine." Li Meng couldn't wait to take out her phone and start patting while saying, "You're really amazing. You can cook such difficult dishes, and you're so good. I can't bear to eat them anymore." Indeed, due to Lu Yuan's incredible craftsmanship, these two Benedict eggs are exquisitely and beautifully crafted like a work of art. This made Li Meng have an impulse to rather eat bread to satisfy her hunger than keep this dish. The dish is made for people to eat. If you like it, I can still make it for you to eat in the future. Eat it quickly, otherwise you will miss the best tasting period if it cools down later. As Lu Yuan spoke, he mercilessly used a small knife to lightly swipe the shuebua egg on top of the toast twice. The clear and bright egg liquid slowly flowed down, soaking the smoked salmon and ham bacon below, and a much stronger aroma burst out than before. After brushing a few times, the entire Benedict egg was evenly divided into small pieces by Lu Yuan. Judging in size, it was exactly the level that Li Meng could swallow in one bite. This touched Li Meng's heart a bit. She, who had never had any love experience, felt the feeling of being spoiled for the first time in her life. The thoughtfulness and gentleness that Lu Yuan showed unintentionally were incredibly destructive to her. Somehow, a sudden thought flashed through her mind. If only Lu Yuan were not my student, if only I were a few years younger. At this moment, she suddenly understood the deep sorrow behind these seemingly simple lines of poetry. You gave birth to me before I was born, and I gave birth to you already old. You hate me for being born late, and I hate you for being born early. At first, I didn't know the meaning of the music, but when I heard it again, I was already the person in the music. Lu Yuan didn't think so much, after all, in his heart, Li Meng was already his fiancée. Taking care of one's own woman is not a natural thing. As for age and identity, it is even more important for the traveler. After finishing lunch with 2 or 3 bites, he put down his chopsticks and said, I'll go and take out the cold tomato salad, which happens to be a dessert after dinner. It was just finished and put in the refrigerator to chill for a while. It should be just right now. It's crispy and refreshing on the ice, you sure like it. Li Meng looked at Lu Yuan with a complicated expression and said, no matter how kind you are to me, it's useless. You know, I won't admit to that paper engagement. Lu Yuan hesitated for a moment, shrugged and said, I know, I didn't want to do anything to you just because of a marriage. It's just that if I don't treat you well, I'm afraid my dad will break my dog leg. Upon hearing these words, Li Meng's mood was somewhat subtle. In theory, she should be happy to hear that Lu Yuan has no thoughts about her, but unfortunately, she feels a little disappointed. When Lu Yuan brought up the salad tomato, she was also a bit absent-minded and disinterested. Even if the taste is really good, icy, sweet, and crispy. Especially refreshing. It's her favorite type, but she still feels a bit overwhelmed. This made Lu Yuan on the side somewhat skeptical about life. Has his master-level cooking skills malfunctioned? It shouldn't be, why does she look so cold? Lu Yuan, who didn't believe in evil, took a few bites and couldn't come to a conclusion in the end. I had to comfort myself with a needle in the depths of a woman's heart. New book second, more for collection, flowers, review tickets, book review section. I am extremely grateful to all the readers. Monthly tickets. Oh my. 3. First Harvest Collapse Value, New Book Third Update. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After dinner, Li Meng took Lu Yuan to Chunfeng Middle School to report. As they approached the school gate, she once again solemnly said to Lu Yuan, if anyone asks, you can say it's my cousin, you know. Don't ever tell us anything about our relationship. This is also a helpless move, after all, one is a teacher and the other is a student. If someone else finds out that the two are actually engaged, it will definitely cause a sensation. She won't have the face to stay at Chunfeng Middle School anymore. Seeing the tense expression on Li Meng's pretty face, Lu Yuan couldn't help but want to tease her. Meng, you said there's something between us. How come I don't know? Why don't you tell me more? Li Meng was so angry that he stomped his foot and wished he could give Lu Yuankai a hard squeeze to relieve his anger. If you keep being so slick, I'll ignore you. Anna, it's just a small joke. Lu Yuan patted Li Meng's shoulder and said with a smile, from now on, you will be my cousin, I will be your cousin, we are a family. Is this okay? Li Meng turned her head unnaturally and muttered, who's with your family now? Show respect to your cousin in the future. Looking at the woman who was talking nonsense, Lu Yuan shook his head helplessly. In fact, in terms of psychological age, he must be much more mature than Li Meng. Because the class division exam has not yet been conducted and it is only a holiday make-up class time, Lu Yuan has been arranged to class 3 of senior high school, which is the class where the protagonists Xiao Huanxi were originally in. When he stood on the podium, he saw Xiao Huanxi, Huang Jitao, Wang Yidi and others at a glance. I don't know if it's an illusion, but Lu Yuan always feels that they look much better in reality than in TV dramas, just like Li Meng before, they are much more beautiful. Taking Wang Yidi as an example, she can only be said to be a little beauty in TV dramas, but now she looks at the same level as Hot Bar, and even more charming and charming. Xiaoyingzi and Huang Jitao have both reached the level of a 9-point beauty, one pure and lovely, and the other beautiful and ethereal. It is pleasing to the eye. As for Fang Yifan and Ji Yangyang, they were directly ignored by Lu Yuan. When chasing the drama, he didn't have a great liking for these two people. Especially Fang Yifan, who appears to have high emotional intelligence and enthusiasm, actually does everything to satisfy his desires. In order to be closer to Huang Jitao, I was able to even take sleeping pills for layer. It's simply terrifying to think deeply. Lu Yuan stood on the podium, looking at the students below. The students also looked curiously at Lu Yuan standing on the podium. New life again. It looks like this guy is a bit mature, Fang Yifan muttered softly. Wang Yidi nodded and agreed, but he looks quite handsome. Wow, he's laughing. He looks really good when he smiles, it's my dish. Huang Jitao was a bit of a flower lover. Fang Yifan angrily said, Goddess, you have disappointed me so much. Isn't it that I don't look good when I smile? Xiaoyingzi mercilessly sneered, Fang Hoer, look in the mirror. Can monkeys compare to humans? Li Meng cleared her throat, suppressed the whispers from below, and said in a loud voice, Classmates, let me introduce you. Standing next to me is the new student Lu Yuan. Everyone applauds and welcomes me. The audience immediately burst into enthusiastic applause, with the girls clapping exceptionally loudly, while the boys looked somewhat powerless. Lu Yuan smiled and responded with his eyes, then said in a loud voice, Hello everyone, my name is Lu Yuan and I come from Qiantang, Jiangsu, Zhejiang. It's nice to meet everyone and I hope to learn and progress together in the future. By the way, I really like Lego and figurines. If you have any friends, you can communicate and exchange ideas together. Upon hearing Lu Yuan's words, Xiaoyingzi showed an excited expression on her face and whispered, Monkey, monkey, did you hear me? He also likes Lego, his new classmate. Seeing Xiaoyingzi's expression, although Fang Yifan liked Huang Jitao, he also felt a bit uncomfortable, with a hint of sourness in his tone. He will definitely be criticized by Li Taibang for saying so later, you just wait and see. Unexpectedly, Li Meng said kindly, Classmate Lu Yuan, hurry up and find a seat to sit down. Why don't we just sit there? There's just one available. She pointed to the desk next to Xiaoyingzi. Lu Yuan nodded and then carried his bag down, leaving Fang Yifan, who wanted to see him joke, stunned. Not scientific, is this still iron stick yam? Surprisingly, its attitude is so good. After sitting down, Lu Yuan greeted Yingzi. Xiaoyingzi smiled sweetly, revealing two cute little tiger teeth. Hello, my name is Xiaoyingzi, and my friends call me Yingzi. I also really like Lego. Lu Yuan knew that his self-introduction just now had an effect, and those who had watched the drama knew that Xiaoyingzi's favorite were Lego and aviation. Because of this, she has also had many conflicts with her mother Song Qian. Now with this as an introduction, it instantly brings him and Yingzi closer together. Really, that would be great. We can play Lego together in the future. Xiaoyingzi said happily, okay, that would be great. But soon there was a hint of disappointment on his face. But I don't know when I can play because my mom is too strict. It's okay, there will be a chance, said Lu Yuan, who was clear about the conflict between her and her mother. Seeing the heated conversation between them, Fang Yifan couldn't help but feel a bit satisfied and said, Yingzi, isn't it Lego? I'll give you two when the time comes. You can play whatever you want. The words have just finished. A chalk tip accurately hit his head. Fang Yifan, you are not allowed to gossip in class. Seeing Li Meng glaring angrily, Fang Yifan shrank his head in fear and muttered in a low voice, What? Why only scold me when Lu Yuan is also talking? Another chalk tip accurately hit his head. Fang Yifan, are you still saying that? He is really cowardly now, quickly shut up and behave obediently. I only dare to secretly look at Lu Yuan with a pitiful little gaze. Lu Yuan had no mood to pay attention to him at all. At this moment, his heart was filled with turbulent waves because he had just received 2 reminders. Didi, congratulations to the host, you have obtained 400 collapse points from Fang Yifan. Didi, congratulations to the host, you have obtained 600 collapse points from Fang Yifan. New book number 3. Collection, flowers, review tickets, book review area. I am extremely grateful to all the readers. Monthly tickets. Monthly tickets. Oh my. 4. Emotion collection system, new books 4th request for support. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. This is still the first time Lu Yuan has received a crash value, and only after opening the system did he understand the background. Originally, this collapse value could only be activated from people who didn't like him, and Fang Yifan happened to be one of the people who didn't like him. This also explains why he has never received a similar prompt before. The function of crash value is very simple, which is to exchange money. 1 point of crash value can exchange for 10 yuan. The 1000 collapse points contributed by Fang Yifan just now were directly exchanged by Lu Yuan for 10,000 yuan and transferred to his own card. Instant payment is very convenient. This also solved a difficult problem for Lu Yuan, as his previous family conditions could only be considered average. Now that he has a breakdown value, he no longer needs to worry about money issues. But isn't this forcing me to take the initiative to pick things up every day? Lu Yuan rubbed his chin with some worry. He had originally planned to be a quiet and beautiful man, enjoying campus life well. Don't tease Li Meng, care about Yingzi, talk about life with Tao Zi, and exchange ideas with Wang Yidi. Simple, simple and dull. This is the life he wants. The host doesn't have to worry, the collapse value is just to activate the emotion collection system. Afterwards, emotions such as accidents, joy, jealousy, etc. can also be collected. The host can live at the pace they want. The soft prompt sound of the system echoed in my mind. Lu Yuan nodded in satisfaction, only then can he deserve the title of the strongest all-around system. To test the effectiveness of this emotion collection system, he looked at Xiao Huanxi next to him and planned to conduct an experiment. Yingzi, are you free after class later? I'm new to school and I'm not very familiar with it. If it's convenient for you to take me around. Sure enough, upon hearing his words, Yingzi's face showed a surprised expression, and a soft system prompt sounded in Lu Yuan's mind. Didi, congratulations to the host for obtaining 50 emotional points from Xiao Huanxi. It really works. It seems that as long as one's words and actions have an impact on others and cause emotional fluctuations, one can collect points. Having confirmed this, Lu Yuan's smile became increasingly bright, and Yingzi looked a bit dizzy and mesmerized. She paused for a moment before pretending to smile heartily and said, "Of course, I'm waiting for you to take me to play Lego." The enthusiastic communication between the two made Fang Yifan feel a wave of enjoyment, and as expected, he contributed another wave of emotional value. Didi, congratulations to the host for obtaining 100 emotional points from Fang Yifan. However, there was also a system prompt that surprised Lu Yuan a bit. Didi, congratulations to the host for obtaining 200 emotional points from Li Meng. This girl is not eating Yingzi's jealousy, is she? Thinking of this, he gave Li Meng a playful glance. She was in class with an expressionless expression on her face. If it weren't for the systematic prompt sound, Lu Yuan would probably have thought that Li Meng's heart was completely unaffected. Although he was certain of this in his heart, he did not make any further probing afterwards. After finishing class honestly, he confidently said to Xiao Huanxi, "Yingzi, why don't we go and visit the school now?" Yingzi readily agreed, "Okay." At this moment, Fang Yifan suddenly approached and said, "How could I not be called to take my new classmates to school? I am familiar with the spring breeze. If it were Lu Yuan who had not obtained the emotion collection system, he would definitely not pay attention. However, since Fang Yifan came to ask for money, Lu Yuan naturally wouldn't refuse. With a slight smile, he said, "Okay, let's do it together." Yingzi gave Fang Yifan a somewhat resentful glance, and she wanted to take this opportunity to spend some time alone with Lu Yuan. This monkey is too blind to see. But Fang Yifan was completely unaware of this, with a smug look on his face. "Then I'll go call Tao Zi too, you guys wait for me." As he spoke, he quickly ran to Huang Jitao's place to show great hospitality. Xiao Huanxi sighed helplessly and said, "Don't worry too much, Lu Yuan. Fang Hoer has this personality and has always been familiar with her." Of course, Lu Yuan will not have the same view as Fang Yifan, but he will not miss this good opportunity to collect emotions and bring his relationship closer with Yingzi. So he smiled and said, "It's okay, but it's a bit regrettable. I thought I could go out and visit the school alone with you, Yingzi." Upon hearing Lu Yuan's words, Xiao Yingzi's little face turned red like rouge, pink and adorable. She glanced at Lu Yuan and quickly lowered her head, stuttering, "Well, there will also be opportunities in the future." Then she stomped her foot hard and said, "It's all because of Fang Monkey. I'm sure I wanted to take this opportunity to chat with the goddess a few more words." Lu Yuan, who was familiar with the plot, asked knowingly, "Goddess, what goddess?" Yingzi pouted and pointed to Fang Yifan dancing in front of Huang Jitao, saying, "No, it's Tao Ziluo, Fang Yifan's goddess. I've been liking her for several years." Lu Yuan pretended to have a sudden enlightenment and said, "It turns out that Huang Jitao is indeed quite good looking. No wonder Fang Yifan likes her." Upon hearing these words, Yingzi felt a little unhappy and spoke with a hint of sarcasm. "Who said it's not? Tao Zi looks just like you guys." Lu Yuan heard a hint in his mind and smiled with honey. "Didi, congratulations to the host for obtaining 1,000 emotional points from Xiao Yingzi. Didi, congratulations to the host for obtaining 500 emotional points from Xiao Yingzi. I have another 15,000 yuan in hand." He actually said it intentionally to arouse jealousy in Yingzi's heart. Although Yingzi and Taozi are best friends, the friendship between girls and men is completely different. Even best friends, it is common to tear and compete with each other. Like a popular joke circulating online, a college girl with 4 people sleeping in 4 WeChat groups is actually not a joke. The friendship between women is so terrifying. Lu Yuan and Yingzi chatted a few more words, and Fang Yifan walked over with Huang Jitao excitedly on his face. "Let's go strolling around the school together," he said. Huang Jitao smiled awkwardly at Lu Yuan, who responded with a smile. "Thank you, Tao Zi. You've worked hard to make a trip." Huang Jitao quickly waved his hand and said, "No trouble, no trouble. Actually, I happen to also want to visit the school." "Didi, congratulations to the host for obtaining 100 emotional points from Xiao Yingzi. Didi, congratulations to the host for obtaining 200 emotional points from Fang Yifan." Lu Yuan's mouth slightly curled up, killing 2 birds with 1 arrow, creating a beautiful scene. New book number 4. Collection, Flowers, Review Tickets, Book Review Area. I am extremely grateful to all the readers. Monthly tickets. Monthly tickets. Oh my. 5. A 10-mile spring breeze is not as good as you. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. 4 people walking together in the school became a beautiful scenery, attracting the attention of many passing teachers and students. Even some brave boys came forward to ask for the contact information of Xiao Yingzi and Huang Jitao. The 2 women were also helpless about this. Who made them both beautiful women with a score of 9 or above, with every frown and smile, and infinite charm. Even so. Cult celebrities and internet celebrities only have a chance of being beaten up in front of them. Attracting bees and attracting butterflies is also inevitable. However, all the boys who came up to ask for contact information were politely refused by them. Are you joking internationally? Didn't you see Lu Yuan right next to you? Don't even look in the mirror and gesture, let's face the courage that Liang Jingru has given. Fang Yifan is quite excited because Lu Yuan is here today, so there are many more female students watching than usual. Although Xiaoyingzi and Huang Jitao were by their side, no girl dared to come forward and ask for Lu Yuan's contact information. But just the gaze of so many girls was enough to excite him and take out his phone, starting to shout, "Hello fans, I'm Fang Yifan. Let's get to know Wu Yifan from Chunfeng Middle School. You see so many girls around you, all of whom are admiring me." Upon hearing this, Xiaoyingzi couldn't help but chuckle and say, "Fang Hoer, you're really shameless. These girls are all here to see Lu Yuan, right?" After speaking, she couldn't help but glance at Lu Yuan. His eyes are really beautiful, clear and bright. In a daze, she felt as if she was looking at the stars in the sky, with a deep and eerie feeling. Yingzi looked at it and couldn't help but feel a bit confused. Didi, congratulations to the host for obtaining 5,000 emotional points from Xiaoyingzi. Lu Yuan was a little surprised. Yingzi was too awesome. Contributing 5,000 emotional points all at once is a groundbreaking experience. At this speed, I will soon become a millionaire. But then Lu Yuan received a system prompt that there was an upper limit to the emotional values that could be collected every day. At present, the maximum daily rate is 10,000 points, which is equivalent to 100,000 yuan in money. Today's emotional values have been collected to capacity, and can be upgraded after accumulating 100,000 points. Although the news was somewhat abrupt, Lu Yuan didn't take it to heart. Because there is no urgent need for money now, 100,000 yuan a day is already sufficient for him. Besides, according to my current progress, I can upgrade in 10 days. So he put his mind back on Yingzi and joked with a smile, "I don't know if the girls are coming to see me, but I know those guys must have come to you just now." Yingzi felt a little embarrassed by Lu Yuan's mischievous smile and lightly patted his shoulder, saying, "What are you talking about? They all come to find Tao Zi, she's the goddess." Fang Yifan nodded repeatedly and said, "Yes, yes, Tao Zi is the goddess of our Spring Breeze school." How could that sentence be said? The spring breeze is not as good as you 10 miles away. Normally, Fang Yifan's embarrassing boasting of Huang Jitao would only pass with a smile at most, and he wouldn't take it to heart. But today, for some unknown reason, she felt particularly restless in her heart. Her pretty face immediately stiffened and she said coldly, "Fang Yifan, if you can't speak, don't speak. Do you know who this poem is written for?" Fang Yifan was momentarily confused and murmured, "Well, isn't I praising you? Isn't this a line of praise?" Huang Jitao rolled his big white eyes and smiled helplessly at Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan gave her an understanding expression and said, "Actually, this poem first came from Du Mu's farewell. Its first line is, Ping Ping Niao Yu Yu Yu, Do Ko Xiao Tu, in early February. Do you know why Tao Zi got angry now?" Fang Yifan looked confused and a little anxious, saying, "What are you talking about? Why do I feel like I can't understand a single word you're saying?" Xiaoyingzi shook her head and sighed, "Hey, Fang Hoer, why don't you read more books? This Ping Ping Niao and Do Ko Xiao Tu are not used to describe a good girl, the spring breeze refers to a beautiful girl." Speaking fluently, Xiaoyingzi realized that she had accidentally said too much. She hurriedly covered her mouth and looked nervously at Lu Yuan. "It's over, it's good now. My image has been completely ruined. Lu Yuan must think I'm a female hooligan, it's all over now." When she was as anxious as ants on a hot pot, Fang Yifan suddenly realized, "Oh, that's it. Tao Zi, you have to believe me, I definitely didn't mean to say you're a G-woman." Puff. Lu Yuan couldn't help but laugh. This Fang Yifan is truly a talented person. Huang Jitao was really provoked now. His watery big eyes turned red and he spoke with a crying tone, growling softly, Fang Yifan. You're really going too far. Get out of here. I don't want to see you anymore. Fang Yifan, who had been scolded with a disheveled face, had to constantly bow his head and apologize for mercy, begging Tao Zi for forgiveness. Lu Yuanjian comforted Huang Jitao, who was squatting on the ground and crying softly, when the heat was in place. Tao Zi, don't be too sad either. Fang Yifan just suffered from being uneducated and didn't mean to say that. In fact, his intention was still good, just to praise you for your good looks. I also think you look good. Huang Jitao raised his head when he heard Lu Yuan say this and timidly said, Are you telling the truth? Although her eyes are red now and her nose is also red, she doesn't seem particularly elegant. But it was precisely this gentle and weak appearance that particularly moved Lu Yuan. He wished he could hold her tightly in his arms now and comfort her with his warm chest. However, Lu Yuan restrained his impulse and continued to speak softly, Of course it's true. I was just telling Yingzi that you look good. Although Xiao Yingzi felt a bit sour upon hearing these words, she still followed along to comfort Tao Zi. Because Yingzi's personality is like this, kind, outgoing, and understanding. So every time she argued with her mother Song Qian, it always made Lu Yuan so worried. Looking at the kind and good girl in front of him, Lu Yuan made up his mind that he would never let Yingzi be bullied or wronged like in TV dramas in the future. Let her enjoy this year of high school without any pressure. Huang Jitao slowly regained his composure with the comfort of Lu Yuan and Xiao Yingzi, but he still didn't have a good expression when looking at Fang Yifan. Fang Yifan knew that staying here would be self-deprecating, and perhaps he would accidentally say the wrong thing and make Tao Zi angry again, so he greeted him and left in a gloomy manner. Seeing him leave, Tao Zi's face immediately burst into a happy smile and said to Lu Yuan with a smile, I feel like the world is suddenly clean. It's really beautiful. Seeing her like this, Lu Yuan could only silently shake his head in his heart, feeling sad for Fang Yifan. I also want to thank Xia Yifan for his assist. Because all inappropriate licking of dogs is an aid to the goddess's true love. New book number 5. Collection, Flowers, Review Tickets, Book Review Area. I am extremely grateful to all the readers. Monthly tickets. Monthly tickets. Oh my. 6. You actually want to be my dad. New book seek support. You are listening at novelfull.audio. To be fair, if it weren't for Fang Yifan chattering incessantly beside him, Huang Jitao's emotional fluctuations would never have been so significant. Although Lu Yuan is indeed very handsome, she is also a first-class beauty, naturally possessing her pride and reserve. And it was precisely Fang Yifan's untimely behavior of licking the dog that brought tremendous pressure and annoyance to Huang Jitao, catalyzing a certain emotion in Tao Zi's heart and making her develop a favorable impression of Lu Yuan in the excitement. Lu Yuan only agreed to let Fang Yifan follow them around the campus before seeing this clearly. Sure enough, Fan did not disappoint him. Now Huang Jitao's relationship has suddenly become much closer to him. The distance between the two was originally quite far, but now it's almost no different from being close together, looking like an intimate couple. In a good mood, he couldn't help but make a joke and said, Actually, I think there was a saying Fang Yifan said before that wasn't quite right. Don't mention him, it's disappointing. Huang Jitao pursed his lips, but was a bit curious. Which sentence exactly? Lu Yuan looks at her cute little mouth and smiles. Not only is the spring breeze 10 li worse than you, but it's clearly Dove chocolate, vanilla 8 joy, cocoa brownie, durian jackfruit, mashed potatoes in chicken sauce, black glue beef tenderloin, braised spicy chicken, braised pork ribs with soy sauce and vinegar fish. They are worse than you, they are all worse than you. Huang Jitao was immediately amused by what Lu Yuan said. He used his small hand to hammer his shoulder twice and smiled coquettishly, What, in your eyes, I can only compare myself to these foods. You're so outrageous. A faint fragrance unique to women rushed towards Lu Yuan, making him feel relaxed and happy. Seeing Huang Jitao laughing so happily, he felt a sense of accomplishment in his heart. The book says that if a man can make a woman laugh heartily, then the path to the soul is not far away. I don't know if it's true or fake. Lu Yuan looked at Huang Jitao, who was giggling, and began to ponder the feasibility of this sentence. Xiao Huanxi felt a little aggrieved when she saw the two of them so intimate. I met Lu Yuan first, and he also invited me to visit the school together. Why are they both laughing so happily instead? And we all like Lego and have common interests. It's all Fang Yifan's fault, call Huang Jitao over. Unconsciously, Xiao Huanxi's impression of the other person as ordinary in her heart deteriorated significantly. Lu Yuan did not ignore Xiao Huanxi while making Huang Jitao happy. He noticed a fleeting melancholy on Huanxi's face, and while feeling heartbroken, he also had a little surprise. It seems that Huanxi is eating his own jealousy. He rolled his eyes and came up with a solution. I deliberately rubbed my stomach with my hands and then let out a sigh. Immediately, Xiao Huanxi and Huang Jitao both expressed concern in unison. Lu Yuan, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? After speaking, the two women even glanced at each other. The air seemed to be filled with a faint smell of gunpowder smoke. Lu Yuan awkwardly smiled and said, "It's okay, it's just that I just reported so much food, but as I said it, I got hungry." "Huh, you deserve it. I asked you to compare me to what you eat, and now you've been punished." La 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 la, Huang Jitao smiled proudly. That bright smile adds a touch of brilliance to the world. Xiao Huanxi suggested, why don't we go buy something to eat now? It's also time for dinner. Lu Yuan was waiting for her words, and she immediately said, all right, then Huanxi and Taozi, let's go have dinner together. I'm almost starving. After speaking, she still looked pitiful, making the two women burst into laughter. This is also a little trick for Lu Yuan to pick up girls. When you want to invite a girl out for dinner, it's best to let her speak first, and then use declarative sentences instead of interrogative sentences to finalize the meal. This way, it's almost guaranteed, and it's rare for girls to refuse. As expected, Huang Jitao hesitated for a moment before nodding and agreeing, okay, let's go eat together now. But I need to tell my uncle first. Huang Jitao's uncle is Pan Shui, the class teacher of Fang Yifan and Ji Yangyang in the future. Although Pan is handsome and nice, who made him like Li Meng? Lu Yuan can only apologize to him. Afterwards, he will definitely find a way to solve this problem. Kicked Pan Shui far away. Are you trying to mess with my fiancé AE? Huanxi also agreed, well, then I'll tell my mom too. Lu Yuan naturally smiled and agreed. Huanxi's mother, Song Qian, was so strict that it was impossible not to report. Actually, he also needs to report to Li Meng himself. Who made Meng his fiancé AE? After editing for a moment, he sent a WeChat message to Li Geng. I will go out for dinner with my classmates tonight, and come home a little later. You should remember to eat on time, take care of your health, be good. Also, don't miss me too much. In a few seconds, he received a reply from Li Meng. It's simple, there's only one, oh, not even a period. But Lu Yuan was not angry because he could imagine Li Meng's proud and cute appearance. This woman is like this, she likes to talk nonsense. What are you looking at, laughing so happily? Huang Jitao curiously leaned in. Lu Yuan had already switched the page and saw Tao Zi's watery eyes filled with a thirst for knowledge. His lips curled slightly and he said, do you really want to know? Huang Jitao nodded obediently and said, of course I want to know. Lu Yuan suddenly chuckled and said, you're too young, little girl can't know these things. Huang Jitao's delicate little face suddenly turned pink. She shyly patted Lu Yuan and said, why are you like this? You know how to bully people. This voice, that's called a whine. Hearing this, Lu Yuan's whole body was going to be crispy. I didn't expect Huang Jitao's voice to be so pleasant. If we had a deeper conversation in the future, it would be so exciting to shout. I dare not think, I dare not think. Speaking of which, in terms of her pleasant voice, Yingzi's father, Xiao Huanxi, is actually quite a good girlfriend. And with a good physique, being a yoga instructor can definitely unlock many poses. When watching the drama, Lu Yuan was actually quite impressed by Xiao Huanxi. He didn't want such a charming beauty around him, but instead liked to hang out around his ex-wife. What a waste. In the end, it's not cheap for others. It's better for me to come and accept it than to offer a cheaper price to passers-by. If in the end, brother also takes Song Qian away, wouldn't it be thinking of this? Lu Yuan looked at Yingzi with a strange expression in his eyes. Xiao Yingzi asked with some confusion, Lu Yuan, why are you looking at me like this? It's strange. My mother has already agreed. Let's go and have dinner together. Lu Yuan could only smile and say nothing. He dare not say what he had just thought in his mind. Otherwise, he is really afraid of being bitten to death by Yingzi. I treat you like a friend, but you actually want to be my dad. Can we still have fun playing together? Poker for support. As a self-aware poker player, I am never greedy, so as long as the big shots give me some flower evaluation tickets. If there are rewards and monthly tickets, it would be even more enjoyable. Love you, Moma. 7. If you make a decisive decision, it will be in vain. New book seeks support. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Originally, Xiao Yingzi and Huang Jitao only planned to take Lu Yuan to the small restaurant next to the school to eat something casually. After all, everyone was only a high school student and not financially well off. Even though Yingzi's family has good conditions, due to her mother's strict management, she doesn't have much pocket money on hand. Huang Jitao's situation is slightly better than Yingzi's because his parents are abroad, so he has more pocket money as compensation. But it's just a 50-step smile, not much difference. There is no comparison with Lu Yuan, a dog tycoon. If it were Lu Yuan without the awakening emotion collection system, he would definitely agree to come down and eat something cheap. But now that he just has an extra 100,000 yuan on hand, he definitely won't just make do with dinner like this. If you have an advantage, you should make good use of it. Moreover, this money was also earned from Xiao Yingzi and Huang Jitao, taken from and used by the people. So at his suggestion, the three of them took a taxi to a nearby high-end shopping mall. Prepare to eat Japanese food. At first, Xiao Yingzi and Huang Jitao declined in various ways, saying they were sorry to ask Lu Yuan to treat them to such an expensive restaurant. After all, they checked on Jianping and found that the average cost of this Japanese restaurant is at least over 1,000. But when Lu Yuan showed them his wallet balance on WeChat, both of them have nothing to say. Surprisingly, there is a whole 100,000 change. For high school students, this is simply astronomical numbers, hard to imagine. So after choosing the most expensive 2,888 package in 3 of Lu Yuan stores, Huang Jitao couldn't help but ask, Lu Yuan, is your family very wealthy? Although Xiao Yingzi didn't ask, she still had a curious expression on her face. What kind of family conditions do you have to spend tens of thousands of yuan on a meal this night? Her mother has so many houses, and the monthly rent she collects is probably not enough to even provide food and drink for Lu Yuan. They are already high school students, not kindergarten students. I have a clear understanding of what money means. Actually, nowadays students mature early, especially girls. Although I may not say it verbally, most of my classmates have a clear understanding of their family background. There are also comparisons in the dark. Everyone also likes to play games that are similar or better than their own family conditions, and those that are too poor are easily discriminated against. Even in the Spring Breeze High School, where there are numerous powerful and wealthy families, the conditions like Lu Yuan are still few and far between. A meal, an ordinary person's monthly salary is gone. Lu Yuan smiled faintly and said, actually, it's okay. It's just an ordinary family, you don't have to worry about food and drink. Xiaoyingzi couldn't help but exclaim, if you're not worried about food and drink by your standards, then I guess I'll have to go drink with my mom. Lu Yuan haha said, there's no such exaggeration. Look, the sashimi platter is here. Oh, this bluefin tuna is really fresh. Look at its delicate flesh, it looks really nice. Huang Jitao pursed his lips and said, I know it's boring to change the topic. Lu Yuan had no choice but to pretend not to hear, picked up his chopsticks and prepared to eat. Unexpectedly, Xiaoyingzi and Huang Jitao stopped him and said, hey, don't eat yet. We haven't taken any photos yet. Lu Yuan was speechless for a while, this is too true. Sure enough, no matter which world the girl is from, taking photos is always the top priority. So Lu Yuan could only watch Xiaoyingzi and Huang Jitao happily clapping and giving various reference opinions from time to time. At this moment, he suddenly understood why Zhu Wanhua said that the life of wealthy people is so simple and boring. As for the various envious and jealous looks of other guests, he ignored them directly. If it weren't for Lu Yuan's emotional collection reaching its limit today, it is estimated that this wave would have received tens of thousands of emotional values. The three of them took photos while eating, chatting and laughing, and soon finished their meal. Lu Yuan saw that everyone had eaten almost the same, so he walked to the front desk and silently paid the bill. After he returned to his seat, Xiaoyingzi felt a bit embarrassed and said, thank you, Lu Yuan. You invited us to have such expensive Japanese food today. Actually, theoretically, Tao Zi and I should have invited you to dinner. Huang Jitao also looked melancholic and said, unfortunately, I'm too poor to afford your expensive meal. Oh, it seems like I owe you this meal for now. Lu Yuan smiled and said, it's okay. If I can't afford it, I can use you to pay it back. I'll suffer some losses, it doesn't matter. If someone else were to say such rogue words, Huang Jitao would be 100% upset. Her family conditions are not bad either, and both of her parents work abroad. A meal of 10,000 yuan really can't do much for her. I don't have money now just because I'm still a high school student. But it was precisely Lu Yuan who said this. Although I only knew each other for half a day, every move and word of Lu Yuan left a deep impression on Huang Jitao, bringing great affection. She didn't feel angry at all in her heart, but only felt shy, and even had some joy and anticipation. Especially when Xiaoyingzi was still watching from the side, there was a little evil in her heart. Stinky rascal, you actually said you were at a loss. I didn't even say I was at a loss, humph. Although it may seem like scolding, the charm flowing between Tao Zi's eyebrows and eyes can be seen by anyone who is not blind. It's just a couple flirting. Xiaoyingzi said sourly, then you too should slowly suffer losses. I'll go home first. Lu Yuan quickly grabbed her and said, hey, Yingzi, don't rush back yet. I still have to go buy some clothes. You two accompany me for a walk, give me a staff officer, and just do me a favor, okay? In fact, at this moment, Xiaoyingzi didn't hear a word of what Lu Yuan said, and her mind was full of one thing. Hand in hand. Lu Yuan held my hand. We're holding hands. Although Xiaoyingzi, who has an outgoing and generous personality, occasionally has some physical contact with other boys, she always treats her as a buddy and has no inner turmoil. But now Lu Yuan just pulled her hand, and Xiaoyingzi had a tingling sensation, like an electric shock. My heart was pounding incessantly. The whole person was like a little white rabbit who had been anesthetized, silly and cute, making Lu Yuan burst into laughter. So he didn't say much and just took Xiaoyingzi's hand and walked out. Hesitation leads to defeat. Be decisive and you will receive it for free. A true man, when it comes to critical moments, be steady, accurate, and ruthless. Lala, to celebrate Lu Yuan's successful hand-in-hand with Yingzi, should everyone cast some flower evaluation votes to encourage them. Love you guys. Please give a reward and get a monthly pass. 8. Herm's Big Sale, New Book Seek Support. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Lu Yuan and the two women walked together in the mall, and fiercely pulled up a wave of hatred from the passers-by. There was no way, but when he held Xiao Huanxi's hand, Huang Jitao somehow felt that he was very close to him. I wish I could squeeze my whole body into his arms. Think about it, if in real life, Yang Mi and Zhao Yingying were to walk around the mall with a man on their arm at the same time, what a sensation it would cause. However, Xiao Huanxi and Huang Jitao's current appearance is not inferior to Yang Mi and Zhao Yingying, and they are even younger. This killing power is really terrifying. If it weren't for being in the mall now, someone would probably have come up to fight against Lu Yuan. It is interesting to say that Xiao Huanxi and Huang Jitao's intimacy with Lu Yuan at the same time has an additional benefit. When they walked into Herm's specialty stores, the sales attitude was very, very good. There is no indifference or arrogance towards them just because they are wearing school uniforms. Not to mention intentionally neglecting Lu Yuan just because of his simple clothes. Being able to make two men of this level of beauty obedient, even thinking with their toes, knows it won't be easy. In fact, the Herm's female salesperson who came to receive them has a good appearance, at least a score of 7. Placed in the crowd, it also belongs to the goddess level. Unfortunately, with Xiao Huanxi and Huang Jitao Zhuyu in front of her, she looked a bit overshadowed. Normally, if Lu Yuan came alone, he might even tease her when he was bored. But today, all his thoughts are focused on Xiao Huanxi and Huang Jitao. So he appeared somewhat indifferent. The female salesperson was not discouraged and still enthusiastically introduced their products to Lu Yuan and the others. Seeing the long numbers on the labels of each commodity, Xiao Huanxi couldn't help complaining. The clothes here are too expensive, isn't it? A short-sleeve T-shirt costs more than 3,000, and a pair of sneakers is 10,000 smaller than AJ. Huang Jitao nodded in agreement and said, although it looks really nice, it's really a bit expensive. The female salesperson remained indifferent to this and instead smiled, saying, Hermes never makes customers regret it. I think this gentleman naturally has his reasons for choosing Hermes. Lu Yuan murmured in his heart. In fact, I just wander around. And Yingzi, your father will buy you a Lego for over 8,000 yuan. What are these few clothes? He didn't want to put too much effort into shopping, so he picked out a few items that looked good to him and waved his hand, that's all. Could you please help me wrap them up? Then he turned to look at Xiao Huanxi and Huang Jitao beside him and said, Yingzi, Taozi, do you have anything you like? How about choosing two? Xiao Huanxi shook her head like a drum and said, forget it, the things here are too expensive. I'm already quite embarrassed if you treat us to dinner. If you buy something for me again, I really don't understand your favor. Lu Yuanjian saw Xiao Huanxi's resolute attitude and didn't say much. He continued to ask Huang Jitao, who was leaning against his shoulder, so, Tao Zi, what do you say? Do you like anything? Tao Zi gave Lu Yuan a big sanitary ball and whispered in his ear, why, do you really want me to use myself to pay off the debt? Lu Yuan coughed twice and said to the female salesperson who pretended to have seen nothing, then buy these few pieces first. By the way, choose a few more scarves for me, don't be too big, the 90 centimeters one. Let's start with 10. As soon as these words were spoken, the other three were all startled. Seeing that Lu Yuan's expression didn't seem like he was joking, the female salesperson was surprised and agreed. After all, this is Hermes in the capital, with wealthy customers like a fish crossing the river. Although the quantity of 10 scarves may sound exaggerated, the price is actually less than 50,000 yuan. Compared to their signature bag, it's really nothing. The cheapest Hermes bag can often cost tens of thousands, and if it's a special material Birkin, it's not worth a small 200,000 yuan, and it needs to be paired with tens of thousands of goods. However, Lu Yuan's purchasing power does make female salespeople a bit tempted. She looks so handsome and still has so much money. It's really a pity to miss. Although the absolute amount spent by Lu Yuan today is not much, he only spent less than 70,000 yuan in total. But she was very confident that Lu Yuan's wealth was not simple. Because his expression when he swiped his card to pay the bill was too relaxed, there was no pressure at all. With a calm and composed demeanor, there are at least 1 billion or so homeowners in the family. If she found out that Lu Yuan's total assets now amounted to less than 10,000 yuan, she would probably spit out a mouthful of old blood in anger. Without any prior knowledge, she enthusiastically introduced her bags to Lu Yuan and revealed that there were still a few Birkins hidden in the second-floor warehouse, specifically reserved for VIP customers. If Lu Yuan is interested, you can take him up to see it. Lu Yuan naturally smiled and refused. If he wanted to buy Birkin, he had to save up for several more days. So, in the regretful eyes of the female salesperson, he left the store with Xiao Huanxi and Huang Jitao in big and small packages. Although Lu Yuan appeared quite calm, the two women were very excited. Shopping is the biggest and strongest stimulant for women, even though they are only high school students now. In this regard, women of all ages are the same. Xiao Huanxi looked at the orange Hermes bag in her hand, a bit dreamy, as if dreaming. With all this stuff, there's nothing left for 70,000 yuan. Huang Jitao is also like a dreamer. 10 scarves. And each one is so beautiful, the material feels so great. Lu Yuan smiled and took out 2 small boxes containing scarves from his bag. Noah, to thank the 2 beautiful women for their hard work today. They also want to take me to school and accompany me shopping. These 2 scarves are just my gratitude. Don't refuse. Today is the first day we know each other, and I don't want to taste the feeling of being rejected by the beautiful women on the first day. That would be really unfortunate. Huang Jitao was amused by Lu Yuan's words. After hesitating for a while, he took the box from Lu Yuan's hand and said with a smile, "Anyway, there are more lice and no worries. You will be my big creditor in the future." Xiao Huanxi saw Huang Jitao accept the gift and after thinking about it, she also accepted it. However, there was some concern in her words. Receiving such a valuable gift from you would definitely be another lesson if my mother saw it. Lu Yuan said nonchalantly, "This is a symbol of our friendship. Don't measure it with worldly things. Love is priceless, isn't it? I believe your mother will also understand." Upon hearing these words, Xiao Huanxi's previously stiff body suddenly collapsed and she leaned against Lu Yuan's embrace, giving a gentle nod. He, everyone guess what Song Qian would react to seeing Yingzi accept Hermes. For Yingzi's happiness, you know, hand in the flower evaluation ticket. And there's also a monthly reward ticket, Maeda. 9. If you continue to do this, I will ignore you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'm back now. After returning home, Lu Yuan shouted towards the inside of the house, but did not hear Li Meng's response. And it doesn't look like there's anyone in the room either. Lu Yuan knew in his heart that Li Meng was probably working overtime at school again. Leaving aside other aspects for now, her diligence in work is truly impeccable. In the drama, I fainted in the exam room due to low blood sugar due to being too busy to eat. If it were Lu Yuan who was watching the drama, he might have passed away with a sigh of emotion. But now that Li Meng is his fiancée, Lu Yuan will not allow the fainting incident in the exam room to happen. He sent a WeChat message to Li Geng, "I have already arrived home, where are you now?" After Lu Yuan sorted out the Hermes he had bought, he received a reply from Li Meng, saying, "I'm still preparing for classes at school, so I probably won't be able to come back in a while. If you're tired, let's take a break first." He shook his head helplessly, wondering which man in the world could sleep before his wife came back. That's a big thought. He thought for a moment and replied, "I'll come to school to pick you up later." It's not safe for girls to go back alone at night. Li Meng, who was diligently working on lesson plans in the office, couldn't help but mutter to herself when she saw Lu Yuan's message, "You have a bit of conscience. You know, come and pick me up." However, the handwriting on my hand turned into, "You don't need to send me on this short journey. I'll just walk over by myself." After the message was sent out, she felt some regret in her heart. Why did it change when I tried to get Lu Yuan to pick it up? When Li Meng was feeling a bit regretful, Lu Yuan's reply made her burst into laughter. "How can we do that? You look so dangerous. Isn't this a crime? In order to build a harmonious society, just obediently let me go. You have a smooth tone, not a straight line." Although Li Meng was roast on her mouth, she could not stop smiling on her face. Her fingers were tapping on the screen quickly. All right, can't I still listen to you? Let's not talk for now, I still have to work." Lu Yuan's response was concise. "Yes, Your Majesty, my queen." Li Meng smiled and poked Lu Yuan's WeChat avatar with her finger, saying softly, "Thank you, my knight." At this moment, Pan Shui suddenly approached and said, "What is Teacher Li Meng talking about? Laughing so happily." Her face instantly turned cold, devoid of the gentleness she had before. "Teacher Pan, could you please focus more on your work? I don't need to report to you what I'm doing, do I?" Pan Shuijia, who had been harshly scolded, smiled a few times and said, I'm just showing some concern for you." Li Meng said mercilessly, "No need. I need to prepare my lesson now, please don't disturb me." Pan Shui, who was bored, returned to his position with a disheveled face. A wave of depression swept through my heart. Why does one's goddess always have such a bad attitude towards him? Around 10 p.m., Li Meng finally got all the work done. She stretched lazily. After hesitating for a moment, she sent a WeChat message to Lu Yuan. "I have completed the lesson plan and will go home now." After waiting for about 5 or 6 minutes, I didn't receive a reply. She couldn't help feeling a bit disappointed, and even a little angry. What kind of person? They promised to come and pick me up, but now they're ignoring me. Men are all big pig hooves. Just as she was packing up and preparing to leave, her phone screen suddenly lit up. Above is a reply from Lu Yuan. "I have arrived at the school gate. The weather is cold outside. Remember to wear a coat when you come out." Smiling face, upon seeing this message from Lu Yuan, the loss, grievance, and anger that had just occurred immediately turned into joy and emotion. She put down the lesson plan in her hand and happily replied, "I know, thank you." Afterwards, she ignored Pan Shui who was about to come up and talk to her, and walked towards the school gate with high heels. From afar, she saw a tall and heroic figure standing at the door. Who else can there be besides Lu Yuan? As Lu Yuan approached Li Meng, he quickly waved his hand and said, "Here it is." Li Meng's face became increasingly cheerful, but as she approached Lu Yuan, she put it all away and tried to pretend to be calm. She said lightly, "Actually, it's okay if you don't come. The school is so close to home, just a few steps away." Lu Yuan had already seen through Li Meng's little bit of caution, but he didn't put it bluntly. He just smiled and handed over a thermos, saying, "I stewed some bird's nest for you. Can you try it? Drinking some of this beauty drink at night can also calm the mind, and has the effect of nourishing yin and moistening the lungs, which is especially good for the body." Li Meng was a bit surprised and said, "Bird's nest? Where did you get bird's nest? I remember not buying bird's nest at home." Lu Yuanro explained in a soft voice, "Didn't I go out for dinner tonight? By the way, I bought you some bird's nest. Seeing how hard you work, you should make up for it." Li Meng's heart was pounded by Lu Yuan's gentle words, and her previously feigned cold expression could no longer be disguised. She whispered, "Why buy bird's nest? Give me such expensive things to eat, isn't it a waste of money? You're just a high school student and haven't made any money yet. How much did these birds' nests cost? I'll pass it on to you later. Lu Yuan's heart also warmed, and all the things he had done were not in vain. Although it is only natural to spoil one's wife, it is really heartwarming if the wife does not know how to be grateful. Fortunately, Li Meng is not such a person. I didn't misjudge anyone. She is a good girl worth cherishing. He reached out and pressed Li Meng's head, saying, no matter how expensive bird's nest is, as long as I give it to you, it's not a waste. Don't worry, I don't lack that little money. I'll show you something good when I get home later. Li Meng snapped open Lu Yuan's hand and nervously looked around. Fortunately, there are no acquaintances around now. She whispered, oh, you're going to die. You're touching my head in public. If someone else sees me jumping into the yellow river, I can't even wash it off. Lu Yuan he said, is that okay if no one looks at it? Li Meng's ears turned a little red when she heard it, and she shyly gave Lu Yuan a white look. No one can look at it. Lu Yuan smiled and watched as Li Meng remained silent. Li Meng couldn't bear it anymore. She stomped her foot and twisted her head, saying, if you keep doing this, I'll ignore you. Lu Yuan stopped teasing Li Meng and comforted her with kind words, all right, let's go home. Take your time drinking bird's nest, it's a bit hot, don't worry. Li Meng chuckled and ignored Lu Yuan. She started drinking bird's nest in small sips. Although she didn't speak, from her happy little expression, it was evident that this bird's nest was very to her taste. Lu Yuan also felt a sense of achievement in his heart. It was not in vain that he sent away Yingzi and Taozi and went to a supplement store specifically. He used the remaining more than 10,000 yuan to buy the highest end of the super rare bird's nest. Then, meticulously crafted with master-level culinary skills, we finally prepared such a rock sugar bird's nest soup. I don't know if everyone likes to watch this sweet daily life. The author is eating dog food while coding, and tears are about to flow out. I hope readers can comfort the dog author with flower reviews. It's really miserable. Only by giving a reward can I warm my heart on this cold night. 10. What do you want to do? New book seeking support. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After taking several sips of rock sugar bird's nest soup, Li Meng looked at Lu Yuan beside her and felt a bit embarrassed. He saw his greedy appearance again. Why is it so difficult to maintain the authority of a teacher in front of Lu Yuan? But this bird's nest is really delicious. She has never tasted such delicious bird's nest before. Sweet but not greasy, refreshing the heart and spleen. Take a sip and you'll feel warm and comfortable all over. I don't know how Lu Yuan made it, just like the Benedict egg at noon. I don't know if my heart has been captured, but I'm afraid my stomach is really going to fall. Lu Yuanjian looked at Li Meng with a complicated expression on his face, feeling a bit flustered in his heart. He just drank bird's nest. As for looking at me with this kind of gaze. He instinctively touched his face and asked, is there anything strange on my face? You look at me like that, I feel a bit flustered. Li Meng chuckled and gave him a look of anger. There's nothing strange on your face, but you look quite strange, she said. Lu Yuan chuckled, there's nothing I can do. Who makes me look bad? I look ordinary. Hey, you're still cute and good. Looking. Look at you, how normal you are. Upon hearing these words, Li Meng wished she could drown him with a single mouthful of saliva. You don't have good looks, do you look ordinary? It's like Ma Yun saying she doesn't have money. You don't have to face yourself to a certain level. The following sentence was clearly mocking to Li Meng. How could she bear it? Angry and eager to mock back. But being good. Looking is indeed something one can do. Looking at Lu Yuan's handsome face, the anger in Li Meng's heart suddenly dissipated. He said, just your sharp mouth. Lu Yuan proudly said, that's necessary. We've agreed on everything we've used. Li Meng was a bit confused when she heard these words and said, what does it mean to say that everything you've used is good? Lu Yuan carefully examined Li Meng's expression and found that she really didn't understand, rather than pretending to understand. Feeling happy in my heart. It seems like a little white mouse who doesn't understand anything. Stupid and cute. He gave a cheap smile and said, it's okay, you'll understand in the future. Seeing the expression on Lu Yuan's face, although Li Meng didn't know what that sentence meant, it was definitely not a good thing. Maybe it's just trying to arrange her in a different way. Angry, she smashed Lu Yuan's arm with her bag and said, don't talk nonsense. Lu Yuan smiled and dodged. The two of them just talked and smiled as they returned home. Li Meng looked at the room, which had been completely renovated and clearly cleaned, and exclaimed in surprise, did you hire a housekeeper? This room is so clean. The housekeeping service is so good somewhere. Lu Yuan smiled and shook his finger, far away in the sky, close in front of me. Li Meng looked at Lu Yuan with some disbelief and said, did you clean it? No way. This cleaning is also too good, isn't it? Lu Yuan shrugged and said, what's up here? Look, I can still cook. This is called an excellent housewife. Li Meng was amused by Lu Yuan's words and said, you are a housewife man, so what am I? Lu Yuan gestured around and hugged, you're just a little rich woman who works hard outside and earns money to support me. Li Meng quickly made a disdainful expression and said, go, who's going to take care of you? Lu Yuan rolled his eyes and realized that he was asking for trouble. The revolution has not been successful yet, comrades still need to work hard. Li Meng's heart was filled with emotion and an unparalleled sense of happiness when she saw the tidy room and the gentle bird's nest soup in her hand. This is the life she yearns for. Have a loving and supportive husband, a warm home, and preferably a cute little baby. Thinking of this, she blushed with embarrassment. What are you thinking? Is it really difficult to give Lu Yuansheng a little baby? Just this thought, like wild grass, grows wildly and becomes more and more intense. Li Meng couldn't restrain herself. While she was daydreaming, Lu Yuan suddenly walked out of the room carrying several Hermes boxes. Li Meng recognized these iconic packaging boxes at a glance. This orange box can be said to be the ultimate dream of all women. Hermes. Li Meng was really surprised and immediately began to wander around Lu Yuan, with questions shooting out like a barrage. How could you have Hermes? Where did these Hermes come from? Why are there so many boxes? What's inside? Lu Yuan quickly stopped Li Meng's questioning and said, stop, let's come one by one. Don't worry. Li Meng suddenly realized that she seemed a bit excited just now, feeling a bit shy and sticking out her tongue. It's extremely cute. Sorry, I was a bit surprised to see Hermes. Lu Yuan smiled and said, understanding, is this what I have specially prepared for you? Did you give it to me? Li Meng exclaimed in surprise. Yeah, quickly open it and take a look. I'm not sure if you like it or not. Li Meng looked at the boxes and hesitated for a moment before showing a determined expression on her face. No, Lu Yuan, I can't accept such a valuable gift from you. Hermes is really too expensive, I can't afford it. Lu Yuan felt a little headache when he saw her like this, and his heart was both amused and moved. Alright, why are you being polite to me? You're my fiancée, isn't it natural for me to buy you a small gift? Li Meng's reaction was quick. I am your cousin now, not your fiancée. Isn't cousin more exciting? However, Lu Yuan didn't dare to say these words, he only dared to think in his heart. He continued to work hard on his ideological work. Okay, even if you are my cousin, I am your cousin. Is it wrong for my cousin to buy a small gift for her when he first meets her? Besides, she also provides accommodation for her cousin and arranges for his school. If this cousin doesn't express himself, wouldn't he become a white-eyed wolf? Li Meng was somewhat speechless with Lu Yuan's words. But as a woman, she is self-taught in some innate skills. She immediately pouted and snorted, I don't care, I don't care. Anyway, I just don't want it. Lu Yuan chuckled and was adept at dealing with coquettish women. At this point, we cannot reason with her. So he roughly tore open all the silk satin on the box and then took out the scarf inside. Before Li Meng could react, she tied it around her neck 3 times, 5 out of 2. It's so beautiful. Lu Yuan sincerely praised. Li Meng, who was originally in the drama, is very beautiful and moving, and in reality, she is an indescribable beauty. Especially with that aloof and icy temperament, there is a crazy urge to conquer her. This dignified and cool temperament has been elevated to a new height after wearing a scarf. Lu Yuan's mouth was slightly dry, and he stared closely at Li Meng, unable to resist taking a step forward. What do you want? Li Meng asked timidly. Damn it, it's just a bit like what's written. Do you understand? Being a single-coder dog really can't hurt me. I have an impulse to open a browser. I hope everyone can quickly give me some fresh flower review tickets to suppress my surprise.